Hello. I was feeling very pink today, which I don't usually feel, so I figured I should go with it. It's November, and to me, November marks a lot of things. Namely, the beginning of pie season, which is one of my favorite seasons. I'm going to show you guys a very quick little crust and something I really like to do with the crust. So I'll probably do a couple pie videos this month and going into next month because December is also pie season, and January and February and March. And so this will be like my base crust that I'm gonna be using. I've kind of come up with this recipe over the years, just trying a bunch of different ones. I know for all of my bakers out there, I'm sure that you guys have a bunch of recipes that you've gone through and tried and figured out and loved, and then you find a new one and you use that one. So this is kind of a conglomeration of all of those. You'll need all your basic stuff. This will be an all butter pie crust. I am not opposed to vegetable shortening. I think it's wonderful. This particular one I'm going to be using is all butter. So you will need 16 tablespoons of very, very cold butter. That will be 2 sticks. I'm gonna keep this in the freezer until I absolutely need it. 2.5 cups of flour, a couple pinches of sugar. I use just the tiniest bit of baking powder, a little salt, and some tablespoons of ice cold water. I am doing a double recipe for this just because most of the time when I'm making pies, I'm making a bunch of them, or if I'm making these little hand pies, which I'm gonna show you today, I usually use a lot of pie dough. So I like to have a lot to use. I'd rather have too much than too little. Oh, I also have a big bowl I'm gonna mix it in. This is just my KitchenAid bowl. I like this one because it's glass and it's big, so I can see what I'm doing, and it's not gonna overflow. Let's get started. Whose thing is that? Let's get started, shall we? Is that Rosanna Pansino? Let's get started, shall we? It's somebody. What we're gonna do is whisk together all of our dry ingredients first, so I will show you that. I just spoon and level all of my flour into my big old bowl. Then I put in my baking powder, and I actually do count sugar as a dry ingredient here, and my salt, and whisk it all up. I know, I'm very confident to be doing this in an all black shirt, but I wanted to wear it, so. Okay, so now we are going to mix in our butter. It's gonna seem like a lot of butter, and that's because it is. That's what makes our pie crust so flaky. The reason that pie crust, good pie crust, well, if you like flaky pie crust, which I do, to me that's good. I don't love like shortbready pie crust. The reason the flaky pie crust does what it does is because the moisture in the butter evaporates in the super hot oven that you're baking the pie in, therefore leaving you with these little air pockets that there was a thing of butter in it. So like, let's say this is the butter and this is the pie crust, right? So this is the butter cold and this is the flour and stuff. And then when it starts to bake and that moisture evaporates, there's still that empty space. And that's why pie crust, when it's flaky, is so yummy. Let's go grab our butter from the freezer. Got 2 sticks nice and chopped up. And you'll see I have it chopped not only like this, and I also have it down the middle and just like that. So you should have little cubes of butter. Now, let's show you how to do it. So I am starting by dropping my cubes of butter into my flour and coating them all. That way the heat from my fingers does not immediately start to melt my butter. You can see right here that they are fully coated in that flour mixture, and now I will start to squish all of these cubes. I like to squish them into walnut half-sized pieces, so they're not paper thin, but they're also not super chunky. You can see right here, I like them to look just like that. And now I'm just gonna go through for a little bit and make sure that I get all of those cubes squished and flattened, and again, recovered in flour, because the less that my actual finger touches this, the better. Now I'm adding ice cold water, tablespoons at a time. You wanna be really, really ginger with this, because if it gets too wet, it will become a gummy pie dough, which I do not like. I actually could have added a little more, but I usually err on the side of caution when it comes to pie dough and water. Then I form it into 2 little discs, and I cover those in plastic wrap and put them in the fridge so that they can rest for up to 30 minutes at least, and they can go even overnight if you'd like. Hi. That dough may have been a little dry, but we'll see. I have to run a couple errands, which is great because that needs to hang out in the fridge anyway. So I will see you guys in just a little bit. And then we're gonna make some super cute little baby hand pies that are fun to like personalize and are very yummy. So I'll see you then. Hi, good morning. Okay, so it's been longer than I thought it was going to be, but that's fine. I'm super excited. I wanted to show you how I get the inside ready, but when my mom and I make them, we will usually just have our like pie dough and then put a slab of very room temperature butter on it, and then some cinnamon and then some sugar, but I think I'm actually gonna make a little paste because I wanna try that. So I put my stick of butter, about 1/3 cup of brown sugar, about a tablespoon of muscovado sugar, and about a 1/4 cup of white sugar and like a 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon, and I mix this all up. Again, I do think that I should have just smeared the butter onto the pie dough and coated it with this because it ended up spreading, but this is what I did here. I just wouldn't advise it. I'm gonna use just any old wooden rolling pin, and I have my pie dough ready. I'm also going to flour my work surface just a bit. We can start to roll it out. So I think one of my favorite parts about these little treats that we make is they're great for beginner bakers, because sometimes if you are rolling out pie dough and it doesn't like fall into this beautiful perfect circle, I think that can be a little intimidating and upsetting. Oh my gosh, look at all that beautiful butter. God, I love butter. Just like this. This, if you couldn't tell, is not a perfect circle. And that's fine, because it doesn't need to be. And we'll do a full flippy, but you can see all of this gorgeous butter. Like this is some butter, this is some butter, this is some butter. And it's because we left those chunks so big and pretty. Now that we're at about a 1/4 inch thickness, more or less, I am taking my cute little heart cookie cutters and chopping some chunks of dough out. What an aggressive way to say that. And then I'm just making sure those edges are clean. I will roll my dough one time more to get some more cutouts from it, but I will only do it one more time or else it gets a little bit too warm. So I'm gonna do 2 more little cute heart cutouts, and then I actually roll those out because they were just a little too thick, and I put those all on my baking sheet, and then I put my scraps back in some plastic to return to the fridge. So now all I'm doing is making a little egg wash, which is just egg and water. Then what you'll do is take our little cinnamon sugar mixture from before. Just put a little bit of the mixture in your pie dough. I definitely added too much, and there was too much butter. That's why I got so much spreading, and these were a little hard to close. But the process will be the same no matter what. You put the other piece of dough on top of it and you crimp it together with a fork. Then you puncture some little air vents into there so that it does not explode in the oven. And you put your egg wash on it so that it gets nice and crispy, crunchy, brown, golden, delicious on top. And I like to put a little bit of turbinado sugar for an extra crunch. I'm going to put these into my ready and waiting 375-degree oven, and we'll see you in a bit. I wanted to show you guys one little trick I do love so much. Since it's fall, I like to add little fall decorations. As you can imagine, I'm a very spirited person. I have these very cute little punchers. They're like cookie dough puncher things, and I use them for pie dough. Okay, so we've got our first little cutie out of the oven. She is so pretty and golden brown. We've got a ton of really beautiful layers in there. Bottom is nice and golden brown. So let's crack her open. Oh my God. And we've got our cinnamon sugar. Oh my God, look at those layers. That's beautiful. It's so flaky. The sugar on top is so nice and crunchy. Such a perfect little extra pie dough hack because there's always scraps left over. And if there's not, you can make some pie dough just for this because I think it's worth it. The only note I would have, you guys saw it got a little messy when I baked it. I think that's just because I put too much butter in the filling. So maybe do like half a stick of that butter and a little less of each of the sugars and stuff. Oh, I should have put salt in there. And put salt in. Okay, I'll see you soon. Oh, thanks for watching, by the way. Make sure you like and subscribe and turn on my notification bell. That'd be rad. I'll see you soon.